Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Girls Gotta Talk podcast. I thought since we are already coming to the end of January, which within itself is actually crazy, I need to adjust myself here. I thought it'd be fun to just sit and talk about what's happened so far this year, some plans I've made so far this year, which I know I talked about like goals. I kind of want to turn them into plans, if that makes sense. Before we do that, intentions for the week. I think this week I'm just trying to end the month on a good note. That sounds really weird as like an intention, but we started this year really, really, really good. And like, I don't want to ask too many questions, but honestly, it's been kind of like a blessing. You know how like you start new sometimes and it's just not how you planned, not how you wanted. I didn't know what to expect going into this year, but it started off on a really, really, really good note. So we're just gonna kind of keep it rolling. But I'm just trying to end the month on the same note and kind of get ready for February. For some reason, every year, February is the shortest month of the year, but always feels like it's the longest. I don't know what it is. I feel like, honestly, every year, February just always seems to drag. And, like, it's not in a good or bad way. Like, it just always feels, like, super long. I don't know why. And it ends up, like, it's obviously the shortest month of the year, but I don't know why it feels like it's, like, one of those days that has, like, 31 days. Or one of those months that has 31 days. And, like, nothing like super crazy happens in February. Like I know like there's Valentine's Day, there's Super Bowl, there's Groundhog's Day, like random stuff like that. It's not like any major holidays happen like Christmas or Thanksgiving or Halloween when we get to like the end of the year. So I don't know. I can't explain it. I feel like it always just drags on and it's always super weird to me. Someone actually mentioned that to me one time, that they always thought that, and now I feel like it always happens to me. So I don't know if it's just one of those things in my head that now that I've heard it, I'm gonna just like in my head it's gonna make it seem like that's what happens. But yeah, I don't know. So kind of hate that I heard it because now I can't like let it go, but it's just how it is every year. I don't know. But I guess we're just gonna go through it. We're gonna see how it plays out, see how it goes. Hopefully we stay on this track that we're on. I think I said it in last week's episode that I had said that I don't know what I was doing, but whatever I'm doing is just working for me. Like, I feel like that's just how I've been rolling so far this year, is that I haven't intentionally done anything to like make it better, like make things be how they've been, but whatever I'm doing just needs to like keep it up. I can't say what it is honestly, but just hopefully the good vibes, whatever's going on, just keeps on going, because honestly we've been doing pretty well. Streaming platforms: Spotify, Apple Podcast, Amazon Music, anywhere you stream your podcasts, or we are here on YouTube, Girls Gotta Talk podcast. Hopefully, I'm scared to say this in the beginning of the episode, but like fingers crossed again, because it didn't work last time. This goes really well. I had this little glitch on my computer. OBS kind of glitched on me last week, so everything that was uploaded was audio only. On YouTube, I wasn't gonna upload to YouTube. I ended up uploading, but it was just like a picture of like the Girls Gotta Talk like logo for the podcast. That was all you saw. I didn't have a video because you can physically see like watching it, it would just be glitching and freaking out all over the place. And I was like, why would I put that up? Like, that's not that like what you're looking at now is probably any better, because I'm just sitting in front of a blank wall. But I don't think you wanted to see the video that happened last week. You probably would have clicked off or been like, why am I watching this? So I uploaded it to YouTube as audio only. I think It was on I should probably know this for my own podcast. I don't know if on Spotify, if it has video, like, you know how some podcasts on Spotify you can watch while you're listening. I don't know, honestly, if mine does that. But if it does, it didn't last week. Everything was strictly audio for the episode. So far, so good this week. Oh my God, I can't even talk. It's literally 4 p.m. It's 4:42 to be exact. I just cracked open an energy drink because I needed my little like midday pick me up. As you can probably tell, because I literally cannot speak right now. So far so good right now with recording this. So hopefully as you're listening to this, if you like to watch, hello, hopefully you're watching me. If not, I'm so sorry, but OBS just doesn't like me. I've come to the terms that it just isn't my friend, but it's okay. We try to work with what we got here. Yeah, so let's just get into this episode. January, like I said, January has actually been very, very good to me. I don't know what it is. I don't want to talk bad about it. I want it to keep it going how it's going. Like I said, I didn't know what to expect going into this year because the end of last year like was all kind of crazy and all sorts, like just everything going on. I don't know. It just felt like so much was going on that going into the new year, I didn't know what was going to happen. I didn't know if it was going to kind of like roll over and carry on and start the new year just kind of out of whack. But luckily, we have started this year very, very, very well. So I feel like I'm going to start with just kind of talking about what's happened so far this year. And then I do want to get into some plans that I do have to hopefully happen within this new year. I would say I only have 3 for plans. So I do want to say, like, I'm hoping, since I have little and they're kind of small, that they will happen. But if they don't, they don't. We're just going to kind of see how it all goes. So what's happened this year? I have planned a lot. And I probably said this in last week's episode. And I know I just said it again, that I don't know what I've been doing, but it's been working. I honestly have no words. Like, I've just been super prepared, super put together almost, it feels, which honestly it just makes me feel a lot better feeling that I've been prepared. I hate not feeling prepared, especially for the podcast, because I hate having to go and like set up and try to record and not exactly know either what I'm recording or like what I'm getting into almost, which is why I do like map out kind of the episodes. Obviously, I'm not reading like a script or anything, but like I have little bullet points for what I want to talk about. And then obviously, as I'm talking, I just kind of branch off into those. But like, if I didn't have anything written down, I feel like I would just feel so out of whack. But the fact that I've been preparing, I've been planning like episodes kind of a month in advance. So like I had all of January planned out and kind of mapped out before we got into January, which I feel like was a huge start. And I already have, since we're about to be in February, I don't remember if I have the whole month, but I have at least half. Like I have like 2 or 3 weeks already planned out. So if anything, I need like 1 or 2 more. So that's a good start. I know I have a lot gonna be going on these next couple weeks and months. So I do want to stay on top of everything just to kind of stay ahead. I don't really want to get into it just yet, falling behind and trying to pick myself back up later with planning and everything. But I have been planning a lot. I love being prepared. I love how it's all been just like the work days and nights I've been having, whether I'm just sitting on the couch having like a movie or YouTube on in the background and just kind of working from my laptop, or if I'm like sitting at the table and trying to get stuff done while eating dinner or something little like that. But the little things have been making big progress in what we're doing. The next thing is I had an episode drop this month. It was, I think, the first or second episode of this year, this month. Had it with a guest. I did pre-record that because the way our schedules worked, like we recorded it in December, but it just ended up dropping after the new year. So I haven't recorded with a guest yet this year, but I did have an episode drop, which is still something. It's really exciting to have like a guest on now that I've been doing this podcast like solo. It's just always exciting. So I'm really excited to do more of that. I haven't really planned a lot of guest appearances yet. But I do want to have more. I do want to get into that. That is so much fun. That was so much fun. So hopefully that happens soon and kind of frequent. I don't want to like, have one like every other week, but like, kind of spreading it out would just, I don't know, kind of spruce up the podcast a little bit, make it a little more like, ooh, a guest this week type of situation. I had like kind of like an epiphany moment the other day. I realize, so I don't know why my phone just went off and I'm like trying to do two things at once. I realized the other day that I really wanted to get back into like my planner era. If you knew me like mid last year, I was very into planners. I loved putting everything on paper, being able to like see it in front of me and not just in my head and trying to remember. And I don't usually use my phone calendar. That probably would be the smart thing to do because I literally always have my phone on me. I just never thought to use my phone calendar. I started using, I've been using Notion, but I started using like a calendar format on Notion to map out when, like every Monday I have new episodes, but I use the calendar to write like what week is going to be what topic and then like what episode it's going to be. So that way when I go to upload it, I like kind of have everything in that one spot. It's all organized. It's all right there in front of me. And then I started using the same thing when I try to plan out like main channel content, like when I can record and when I kind of want to upload it. So that way I kind of have like a guide for myself. And so far it's been working really well. But I kind of I like writing like things down physically. I'm more of like if I write it down physically, I don't want to say it helps me retain it a little more, but I just like the thought of writing it down and kind of getting like it off of me, like off my head, off my chest type of situation. So I got a planner on Amazon for like $5. So I was like, okay. I literally was at Target the other day and I saw the most like beautiful put together planner I've ever seen in my life. Like I am more of a monthly planner person. You know how they have those planners that are like monthly and weekly? So like you open it and it's like for like January, say, it's the whole month of January, and then as you flip, it's like each week on both pages, kind of like Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and then like Saturday, Sunday at the bottom type of situation. I noticed I don't really like those because I don't strictly use the weekly part of those planners. They would just be blank. So in that case, I feel like I'm not using half the planner. So I just end up getting monthly and writing everything in the little squares on like the double-sided like month it shows you when you open the book. So I got one the other day. Well, no, not the other day. I got it like 2 weeks ago. And I've been loving it. I noticed, so my epiphany was that I thought having a planner and having books for like each part of my life was the smartest thing to do because depending on what I needed to write down or what I needed to like look for type of thing, I would know what planner to pick up. So I had 3 different planners at one point because I had One, I wrote down like what videos we did and when we were uploading them for the reaction channel when Julian and I were doing the reaction channel together. I had a planner for that. That was strictly that YouTube channel. I had a planner for my personal life. So I wrote down like my work schedule and appointments I had or appointments JJ had, just so they were written down for me to go and look at and like refer to almost. And then I had a planner that had like my stuff. So I had the podcast and my channel just kind of color coded. So I knew like whatever I was writing, I knew what it was for, like what channel it was for. And I realized that in the moment that seemed like a really good idea, but it ended up just being, honestly, for me, probably the worst idea. I like to write everything down. Like I don't mind writing everything down, and I like to try to keep up with it the best I can. But I realized that trying to grab 3 different planners and sort out like 3 different parts almost of my life was just too much for me. I feel like that's why I never kept up with it, because I didn't want to be going through 3 different ones. And then by the time I like actually got it to where I was like, yeah, I'm going to update them, I was doing like a month or like a month and a half updating of what happened, because I felt the need to write it all down and then like try to catch up to like the day I was at. So say in like March, I hadn't touched a planner since like mid-January or like mid-February. I would feel the need to like go back to mid-January or February and write down what had happened and what I did and all this stuff, and then like go to March and try to catch up to like whatever day, instead of just being like, okay, I'm gonna let that be, let's pick back up where we left off, almost like where we are now. Because I was like, that just looks bad. Like I did stuff that time and it looks like I did nothing. Like in my mind, I just overthought it, like per usual with everything I do. But I realized that I don't need the 3 different parts of my life in 3 different books almost. So I did buy one planner that I'm going to write my work schedule, because I realized also that writing my work schedule down can also kind of help me plan when I either can record for the podcast or for my main channel, or if I do have a video in mind, like when the best time to like get the best footage almost is. So I have one space that I write my work schedule, and then I write like kind of how I have it online, but just in a different spot of episode number and like what episode is going to be uploaded that day. And I've started to write down some ideas and stuff that I have and want to do for my main channel. Again, it's just color coordinated, or like, is that the word I want to use? Color coordinated? I don't know. It's different colors for different parts. So when I look at it, I know that when I look at this color, it means this. And when I look at this color, it means this. And it's directed for this. So far, so good. I loved that I came to that like conclusion for myself. And that's probably been one of the best things that happened this month, because of the fact that it's just been making my life so easy. Like maybe that's what I've been doing that I haven't realized I've been doing. That's been working really well for me, but it's just a little monthly planner for 2024, 2025. And I love it. And I love that it was so cheap. I was trying to justify why I needed the other planner that I saw in Target. I don't even know if I like finished talking about that. It was the most broken down planner I've ever seen. And it was great. Like it had the monthly overview, like each day had its own little section that you can write down like what you need to, like it had like a to-do thing, a time thing, so you could like plan out your day. It just had so much in it that I loved it. I scanned it at the store because I couldn't tell like where on the shelf was the right price, because it definitely was not in the right spot. It was $30, and I was trying to justify to myself why I needed a $30 planner. Fun fact, I don't. Like, I realized I didn't. Like, the planner I have works just fine, and it was literally $5. I don't know. Maybe if, like, a lot more happens during the year with social media wise, I'll end up needing a more advanced planner for myself. But for right now, what I have is suiting me very well. So I put it back on the shelf. I was good. Part of me was just going to be like, it is what it is. Like, we're going to spend it now. We're going to use it. We'll justify it later. We'll make up the profit somehow. I don't know. I was really trying to talk myself into buying it, but also talk myself out of buying it all at the same time. So whoever saw me in the store, like, literally staring at this and standing in the aisle for like 20 minutes trying to decide was probably like, oh my God, she's crazy. Like, just either buy it or don't. I didn't, but I'm kind of proud of myself, but kind of like really sad because it was just like the most beautiful thing I've seen. Like, I don't know. I can't get over like how beautiful it was, broken down. I don't know. I'm gonna keep thinking about it until like I don't want to say until I get it, because I don't want to get it, but just know it was the greatest thing I've ever seen in my life. The last thing I have under what had happened so far this month is I have officially booked a trip. I haven't fully booked it yet, but I went back and forth with one of my friends that I plan on going with, and we are planning to go to Nashville in August this year. That seems so far away, but I'm really, really, really excited for it. I know last week, did I talk about it last week? How I said I wanted to book trips this year, whether it be a weekend trip, a week trip. I want to do like a lot of places I haven't been to yet. So I've been kind of thinking about places I haven't been to and places that I heard were good to visit and like nice to visit and when to visit type of situation. It's kind of just been like a whole like research project at this point, but we've talked about it. We kind of mapped out dates. My stupid self like just gets really excited and didn't realize like little minor details. So we did have to like rearrange when we were going to go, but I think we finally figured out dates. We kind of figured out like a place, a hotel, like all this stuff, flights, that kind of situation, but we haven't officially like booked it yet. So like I said, unofficially because we haven't actually booked it yet, but like officially because like all the minor details like kind of worked out right now. So it just kind of, it's not like a group chat situation, but like it's just one of those things that have to like make it out of the group chat, you know? So I'm really excited about that. I'm really excited that's turning out how it's turning out. It's going really well. Actually going to be a thing that happens. You know, when you like talk to someone about something and then like it never actually happens. And yeah, that's not one of these times right now. Like, it's actually going to happen. I'm super freaking excited. I can't wait to plan more trips. I don't really know when this year, but I definitely want to book more trips this year, and I'm really, really, really excited for it. So with that being said, plans for the new year are trips. No, I'm just kidding. Well, not kidding, but that wasn't one of the things I had written down. Like I just said last week, or not what I just said, what I said earlier when I started this episode. If you're watching this, which it looks like you will be able to, thank the Lord OBS got their stuff together and is actually being good for me for once. Knock on wood. I don't have any wood over here, frick. I want to get a new podcast set up. I had asked for a chair. That sounds really weird. I had asked for a new like comfy chair to sit in for Christmas, and my grandmother got it for me. I honestly believe it's still in my car. We're at the end of January and it's still sitting in my car because I honestly just keep forgetting to bring it up. But I got a new chair, and I'm really excited to use that as what I sit in to record podcasts. I just have to kind of figure out where in the apartment I'm going to start recording basically I'm just not going to be in front of this wall anymore. And that gets me really excited because I feel like if I'm going to put this up on YouTube and like have it as like an actual video, I want to make it more interesting. I want to make it look more pleasing to look at. Right now it's awful. I try to even like work the lighting and the lighting is just awful. Like I can make freaking like hand puppets behind me from the light. Like I hate it. I don't know. I've never really been the biggest fan of this location, but I haven't really done much to fix it, to be honest, but I also haven't given it much thought lately. But now that I have some new equipment to make a better spot, I've kind of just been more excited, and I have to definitely put in the work to fix this. That's definitely one of the biggest plans this year. I think I have an idea of what I want to do. I just have to make sure like it looks as good in person and on video as it does like in my head. I'm kind of not dreading trying to see if it works, but I am really nervous because I'm kind of scared that it's just going to be one of those things where I'm really excited and it just doesn't play out and I have to like rethink of a new location, but I'm hoping it works out really well. Another big plan, I don't know when this year it's going to happen because I know I'm going to need some type of money for it, but I need to look into getting my own camera. I, thanks to Julian, have a lot of equipment to run this podcast on my own. One of the major things I don't have that I will need for myself is a camera. But I know cameras are expensive. Well, it depends what I like look for. I need one that'll just honestly be able to manage running this podcast. I have a camera right now that I use for like vlogging for like my main channel type of thing, but I know it's not strong enough to run a podcast. We've used it before for the podcast, as if you watched when we had the Alyssa and Julian podcast, we kind of had it as like a side camera. So like we were able to like switch views through the pod. Like if you watched it on YouTube, we like kind of had it where it was like straight on, but then there was one from like the side angle. We used that camera that I use for my main channel for that, but like it would be one of those things where it would stop recording after a little while, which I don't know, like I'm kind of not surprised about. Like I know it did that, but at the same time, I don't know, it just wasn't like strong enough to manage the podcast almost. So I know I don't want to use that for this. So I do need to get my own. I need to get one that can hold the podcast, but depending on that, it could be very up there in price, or it cannot, but it's still going to be some money. So I know I need to I need to look into it and then end up saving for a new camera. So hopefully we'll see when that honestly happens this year. I feel like that kind of scares me, but I'm also really excited because like I said, I have a lot to like run this on my own. And honestly, it's just been making me more excited about this podcast. So one more piece of equipment will just kind of, it'll make this so much better. Like it'll be so great. The next thing that I have for plans so far this year is just planning personal content wise. I feel like I haven't really been on my main channel as much. I've honestly just been focusing on the podcast and either batch recording or just trying to record in general for this, that I'm not focusing on the main channel. I really want to get into social media this year. So far, it has been so much fun. I've been loving it, but I do want to be doing more. Like, I just want more. I've noticed that has just been kind of my vibe, or like my feeling so far this year, is just wanting more. But it's just one of those things where it's like I can have more and I can do more. Like I just actually have to put in the work for it, which honestly makes sense. Like I'm willing to do it. I'm willing to work into it, work for it. That's definitely one of the things I'm want to do this year, is give more for myself and do more for myself. And I don't know what it was, but like social media has just been something I've really wanted to like do more on, do more with, like do more for almost. So I'm really excited to get into that this year. That, I don't know why, has been one of like my biggest views. I don't know what I'm trying to say. Like, it's just been one of the things I really, really, really want to work on and like work for this year is social media in general. I've been trying to post more on Instagram. I've been posting a lot of stories, not actually like posts. I think I said that in last week's episode too, because I just kind of had like a weird deja vu moment. But I've been doing that. Like I said, have been focusing a lot on podcasts and planning and recording and making sure everything is good and everything going up is like quality wise. Like I said, everything that was just uploaded was audio because of recording purposes, but at least like I still wanted an episode up. I still wanted something out there. So I kind of like made do with what I had. I obviously wasn't going to put the video up if it wasn't good quality. So that's just been what I've been working on, what's been going on. But with that being said, that is all I have for this episode. This was kind of just like a catch-up moment. I figured I would just talk about what hopefully we're going to look forward to this year, what you're going to look forward to this year, what I want to happen this year, and just kind of what already has happened. Like I said, we're already, by the time you're hearing this and this goes up, we only have a few more days of January, which, like I said, is crazy, but hopefully this new year has started really well for you. Hopefully you have some good goals set for yourself. I'm hoping it all goes well for all of you, but I love you guys so much. Thank you for listening or for watching, and I'll see you next week back with a brand new episode. Bye.